I eventually got driving. Had quite a few new lorries in my time. Maybe 10 or a dozen different lorries, new lorries, some that was handed down. And in that time, a transport driver, a commercial driver, will do something like 50,000 miles a year. Give or take one or two, but on an average, that's what you'll do, 50,000 in a year. So if you multiply that by 40 odd, that's an enormous lot of mileage. You all said the night before they'd give you a job for the next day, so we all started work somewhere around about 6:30, and you would check your oil and water and whatnot, press the starter and off you'd go to whatever destination it was. And you got a bit of time in the garage on a Saturday morning when Harold Bradshaw liked to see his lorries clean. He liked you to wash them. Delivered a lot of stuff to the docks. We worked for Ruston's, their navvies. We worked for Marshall's, of course, and Marshall's used to make them big 600 boilers. They used to completely cover them with a wooden crate, and they would just drop on our low loader, and then we would take them to the dock side. In fact, there's some photographs of them. You see, these are all different photographs that I've taken over the years. Boilers that they used to cover with timber to protect them, of course, was done at in the woodwork shop. When you go aside of Marshall's, there used to be a place called Pink Hill up there, and the woodwork shop used to be off the either side of the railway, and the 2 or 3 woodworking blokes used to set to and cover them with timber. Yes, we used to go into Marshall's, and 9 times out of 10 there was in number 1 yard. We used to shift the rollers, boilers, and these 4x4s. There was 4-wheel drive, you see, and an articulated in there so you could steer them anywhere. And we used to shift some track vehicles for them as well at Marshall's. But we shifted, well, I have no idea, but we shifted quite a few of them. The thing that we had to do was clear the low loader, because with them being on big rubber tyres, you couldn't keep the bounce out of them, because the weight of them wanted them to bounce, you see, with them being on rubber wheels. And we used to get underneath them with a jack and just jack them clear of the low loader and block it up with timbers, 4 points. Then you could chain it down tight with your chains and your tighteners to strap it down, and then you'd no more trouble like. But if you left it on the rubbers, you was forever stopping and tightening your chains up. They would shake your chains to pieces with them being on the rubber tyres. A big 680 Leyland was in the engine, I remember that. And we used to get it to Tukes. We got the low loader ready to drive them off. The army personnel would turn up, jump in, started up, signed your notes, and that was it. When we used to go to a number 1 yard, there's a street opposite, isn't there? Yeah. We used to swing in that street, and your mate would jump out and he would stop the traffic, and you would back in because there wasn't room to turn round inside. And once you got in there, the people there that was in charge of the crane and that knew what you wanted. In fact, it maybe stood there waiting, and you would get the vehicle, the low loader ready, and they would drop it on for you just where you wanted it, and you would get it ready for the road, chain it down, and secure it so that it didn't move. And as soon as you got that, you went and got your delivery notes where it was going to, and then off you would go. And when you got to the destination, you would report to the offices that you'd brought a road roller, whatever it was. Right, we'll see to it. And then you go back to your lorry, and half an hour later, they would turn up with a lifting gear and tell you where to go to get under the crane and all this. Lift it off, sign your notes, and you're out of it. Marshall stuff, we used to take it all over, and especially London and Liverpool docks. And as we did Ruston's, no end of Ruston's stuff, there was all in there. And of course with Marshall's as well. Piece of a Shackleton aircraft we took to Newark Air Museum. We picked that up at Finningley, near Doncaster. These standby generators, which is a firm at Finningley, Trems they called him, and he bought these generators and he gave Bradshaw the job to move them. So then that starts a line of events. Bradshaw gets the go ahead to move them. So you have to get onto the police in London. We want to come and move some generators, Horse Parade. Is it possible? They come back and say, yes, you can do it on such and such a day. And this is the route the lorry's got to take. They give you a route. So then, as time progresses, the time gets nearer and nearer to you moving them. Everybody's getting geared up to do the job. The crane's been ordered and everything else is done. And that particular day you set off down to London to Horse Guards Parade, your way round Buckingham Palace on the red tarmac into Horse Guards Parade. And then of course there's some official blokes there tells you where you can back your lorry and all this lot, because with it being holler underneath you. And eventually we get in position. The crane, there'd been an heavy gang, had shifted the generators from the place where there was to underneath the crane, the winched them on rollers. And then the crane got hold on them and lifted them out, because there was 2 or 3 floors down. And lifted them out, little short jibney, swung them round and put them on your low loader. And then, of course, you pull out and chain them all down, get them ready for the road.